That's James with Sit Down. That single spent 4 weeks at number 2 in 1991, but was kept off the top spot by Chesney Hawkes with The One and Only. Justifiably so.
Yeah, well,
Chesney's song towers over that effort.
It was the best Chesney song. What was the other Chesney song?
There was only one Chesney song.
No, he had one other hit.
Yeah, but it didn't really sort of register, did it?
Didn't resonate in the same way that I Am the One and Only.
You can't have more than one song if your song's called The One and Only.
Who wrote The One and Only? Was it Nick Kershaw?
I don't know, we'll find out.
Or Roger Daltrey? No, Roger Daltrey was in the film.
I think it was Daltrey and Kershaw.
Right.
Was it?
Hi, this is Adam Buxton, incidentally.
Hey, my name's Joe Cornish. We're Adam and Joe, and welcome to our Saturday morning show here on 6 Music. And we've got good news for you, listeners. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Apparently, all the way across England, it's balmy, sunshine. There are beautiful russet and burgundy leaves.
Ooh.
Sort of flip-flopping lazily through the air.
You know, I love the russet leaves.
More than the burgundy.
I don't like the burgundy leaves so much. And the yellow ones, what would you call them?
Leaves.
They're a disgrace.
But watch out for dog plops.
Oh, yes.
Under the leaves.
Would you run through a pile of leaves? What do you think about when you run through a pile of leaves? Are you worried about dog plops or are you worried about syringes?
Both.
I'm worried about syringes.
It's like one of those Saw films.
Yeah.
Kicking through leaves in
That's
Britain.
right. Torture porn.
Torture, yeah. You'll just end up with severed stumps.
That's right. What a horrible way to start the show. Kind of counterbalanced by our beautiful Hawaiian tropical sound effects there in the background as a soothing bed for you for this opening link. And I should say, folks, that we've got a great show coming up. I've
got all sorts of stuff coming up.
I've changed.
I need to go to the loo and cough it out.
Don't do that. I mean... Oh,
sorry.
I didn't realise you're actually being serious.
We're talking about stuff coming up.
Don't carry on talking about it.
Keep going.
I was going to say that I've changed the jingle for Song Wars.
You've changed generally.
I've generally changed. I've changed a lot this week. I've had a haircut. I've changed the jingle for Song Wars. And you've got 2 new jingles to choose from this week. Yeah.
Wow.
We're going to hear those throughout the show.
So the Star Wars one has been rejected?
I destroyed the Star Wars one.
Really?
Yeah, I burnt
Trash
that.
compacted
I
it.
burnt it because it is...
Burnt it?
Yeah, burnt it. When you really burn something, it's burnt it, and it was a disgrace. Anyway, you'll be hearing those a bit later on.
I think the word is brunt.
Yeah. And also, of course, we'll be asking you to text the nation, or we'll be, text the nation.
We'll be playing Text the Nation, Britain's favourite segment. And Song Wars, and loads of great music. In this hour alone, we've got some new Young Pony Club, some staple singers, some LCD sound system. What an eclectic mix, and the kind of mix you'd only find here on BBC 6 Music.
That's right. But right now, here's Super Furry Animals with Runaway.
This song is based on a just a little.
Super Furry Animals there with Runaway. How did you enjoy the chord change at the end there, Joe?
Was it a modulation?
It was a modulation, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was nice. I liked it a lot.
Not a chord change, but a key change.
No, there were several chord changes in this song.
You gotta have them, otherwise you'll end up
just have one chord.
Exactly.
And no one can do that.
Well,
apart from Robert Palmer.
Robert Palmer, was he the king of the one chord?
Yeah, he did that song, wasn't it called You're All Good Love in the World or something? That's how the lyrics went, and it was just one note.
Really?
Yeah, but not lyrically, but the music.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
How do you know
it was
about
brilliant,
Robert Palmer?
Because he's good.
He's good. He's not good.
He had good moments.
Addicted to Love, that was his moment in the sun.
Well, that was his hit, but often you'll find people's hits aren't their best moments.
Oh.
Yeah? All right? You didn't know that, did you, Adam? No. Adam's mind has melted. It's seeping out of his ears onto the floor into a little puddle.
Sometimes people's hits are not their best moments.
Like the charts,
they're
not the 10 best songs currently available.
What?
I know. The number one song isn't actually... well, sometimes it is, but most often it isn't actually the best song. Sometimes it's the worst. It's hard to get your head round, isn't it? But the people who... anyway, we can talk about that more. We don't want to unload too much mind-frazzling info on the listeners.
No, speaking of mind-frazzling info, though... you may remember if you listened last week to our first song, the first show even, that we unveiled a new jingle for a new segment which is called Song Wars, and this is a segment where Joe and myself are pitched in battle against each other, playing songs that we have written that week ourselves, written and recorded ourselves, on a set theme. And we had an introductory jingle that was based on the music from the film Star Wars last week. And it was bad. It's fair to say that it was not that.
It had a certain charm, I think. I mean, I wasn't responsible for it.
No, I was responsible for it. The charm came mainly from the John Williams score, the magnificent John Williams music. And I
over which you sung.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good, man. Do we still have it? We don't want to play it again. We still got it. We don't want to play it again.
Play the first 10 seconds to remind people. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. Well, this is the good bit. Can't go wrong with this.
It's time for song. See, yeah, you can stop it now.
Stop it now.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it. Thank you.
That was horrible.
That's a taster of how
Absolutely
how bad
horrible.
it was.
So I tried to strip things down this week and give you a new jingle. Do you know what I mean? And I pledge, here's my formal pledge to the listeners and to you, Joe Cornish. I'm going to continue to make new jingles.
Really?
For Song Wars until I get it right.
Every week?
Every week.
Bojangles.
Even if I don't get it right, I'm going to carry on. Just this week alone, I've got 2 new jingles.
That's where the expression Bojangles comes from.
It is. That's what Neil Diamond was talking about when he wrote the song. And I would like to unveil for you the first of this week's 2 new jingles for Song Wars right now.
It's time for Song Wars, the war of the songs. A couple of tunes by a couple of prongs. Which will you vote for? Which one is the best? We're putting our songs to the listener test, so check it out.
Yeah? What do you think?
Prongs.
Well, you didn't necessarily have to. I knew you were going to mention that word as soon as it finished.
I don't...
Well, it's like... Don't focus on the prongs.
It was really good, man. It was it had a touch of Flight of the Conchords about it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Touche de Concords.
It's no bad thing.
What's a prong?
Well, it's like the, it's the business end of a fork. Do you know what I'm saying? I was thinking about this. When does, you know, like, forks for digging the garden and also a fork for eating your food. They have prongs. But why do you refer to a similar thing on a comb as a tooth? When does like a prong become a tooth? You know, because the size, you could say it was just about size, but the size differential between a garden, fork and an actual eating fork, that's massive.
Should we have some music?
But the size between an eating fork...
Let's come back to that. So, song, man, that was really good. I think we're overloaded. I think this link's overloaded. I think we should go to some music and come back for the Song Wars.
You can't just play that introductory jingle.
We've got new jingle and we've got the clips.
Yeah, but the new jingle is for the segment where we play the clips.
All right, okay. So that's a brilliant new jingle.
Thank you. Right, so the theme this week for Song Wars is public transport. It was suggested by one of our listeners.
It was. Do we know that person's name? We'll get our man to find out the name of that person so they can get the correct respect.
I was going to make up a name just then, but I remembered that if I made one up, I'd be instantly vaporised.
You'd be kicked out of the sluice gate.
Yeah.
Into the moat.
That's
the
right.
big British castle.
Deservedly.
So here we go. We've got 2 songs. We'd like you to call and text. Not call, no, just text and email your votes for which of these 2 songs you would like to hear the whole of. The text number is what is it, Jude? Is 64046. Text Adam or Joe. You can just text AD or Joe, J-O. Yeah. Depending on which one of these clips you want to hear the whole thing of. We'll be playing the full winner towards the end of the show at noon.
We'll play the full one of both of them. It's just a question of who wins.
Okay, it's a battle. Here we go. And you can email adamandjoe.6music@bbc.co.uk. Here's song number 1. Whose song is this? This is my song, Joe's song. Now, this is a kind of a Ben Folds 5 style song. And it's simply called the public transport song.
And,
Wrong.
that's my song.
That's Adam's song.
That's my song. I was going to ask you, do you have a name for your band?
No, I don't.
Oh, you've got to have a name.
It's just me. It's just Joe
JC.
Cornish. Yeah.
MC JC.
JC and the Sunshine Band.
Okay.
Yeah?
Are you ready with JC and the Sunshine Band? Here we go.
9:30 on the 133. Some kids are throwing chips and causing misery. I stand up to say, hey, sit down, so they dislocate my jaw and kick
Yeah.
A little bit violent.
That's right. It's Ben Folds 5 meets Chaz and Dave.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
In a good way.
So
and squeeze.
that's Joe's song. If you want to hear that one, text 64046. Text Joe to 64046. Here's a clip from Adam's song.
My mobile comes with tiny speakers in it. If you're don't, then you should win it. Check these out in just 1 minute. It's gonna be a party on the bus. Nice. Everyone will be impressed because my speakers is the best. They passed the tiny speaker test sent by my mate Matthew.
That's called Tiny Mobile Speakers, and that's by Scallywag.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hey, Scallywag's done some work before.
He has.
On some of our previous shows.
Shall we let that sink in? And we're going to play some music right now while those tracks sink in. We'll remind you later on of both those tracks for Song Wars. But right now, here is a track that I picked for you, listeners. I hope you enjoyed this. It's from the Cure's album 17 Seconds, and it's called Play for Today. It's like that.
We're doing an intervention.
Yeah, that's Run DMC. That's a bit of prehistoric hip-hop there.
It's from 1983, and hip-hop's come along so far since then that song has been retired.
Yeah. And that's the last time you'll ever hear it.
It's been shut down. It's being boarded up.
On the radio. Yeah, there's just like a
they're
gang
turning it into a Starbucks.
There's a gang of kids living in it.
Really?
Yeah.
From Smackies.
Yeah, and they're getting them out to turn it
Really?
into a Starbucks.
Hey, some people have texted us, pointing out that, I'm saying that it's blue skies and beautiful, in England at the moment, and of course in Wales and Scotland maybe it isn't. Mm-hmm. And some people are kind of thinking that or I'm being London-centric.
Oh.
And I know that's a justifiably sore point with people, who are annoyed at the media being based in the south.
Yeah.
All of us.
And particularly the big British castle criticised this week for being too London-centric.
There you go, but it's dividing. They're building new castles in other areas of Britain.
Yeah.
Just like the Normans. Mm-hmm. So that's okay, but I do apologise. I was merely hoping that the whole of this great country of ours was enjoying the same weather that we're privileged to have here in sloppy, conceited southern London.
Yeah. So we're wishing sunshine on the whole of the Septic Isle.
Yeah. I love the fact that we're nationally broadcast.
Exactly. Well, it's a lovely morning here in London town. Hey, let me tell you, although cold. And I've been having a sleepless time, though, I have to tell you.
Listeners, Adam's been up since 3 this morning.
Since 3, couldn't sleep. Went to bed at 11. I don't know if it was maybe just excitement about doing the show this morning. It was a little bit of excitement.
Is that possible?
Yeah. Also, it was maybe something I ate. I'm not sure what. Also,
maybe you ate some excitement.
I could have eaten too much excitement. That could have been exactly what it was. But one thing that I wanted to do throughout the night was check the kitchen, right? Because do you remember last week I was talking about the mouse problems I'd been having? There's a lot of mice in the kitchen, all over the house, more or less, as far as I can tell, leaving little bits of mouse nonsense everywhere, and it was freaking me out because it was getting in the muesli, and it's very hard to tell mouse nonsense from muesli, etc. Anyway, I thought, right, I'm going to do something about this problem. So I went out this week this is before calling like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? The ex-Terminator. That's a little joke for you. He's the ex-Terminator.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah. Thought I'd slip it in. Don't usually do jokes.
Don't slip it in.
Won't be doing that anymore. Anyway, so before calling the ex-Terminator, I thought I'm going to try and sort this problem myself. So I went out and got some mouse traps. Have you ever bought mouse traps?
Yeah.
Have you really?
Yeah.
They're frightening, though, don't you find? Because I bought the little wooden ones.
They're slightly medieval.
They're very medieval. I mean, that's an ancient
You
design.
want to get one that uses a bit of peanut butter to lure them into a closed room.
Right. Well, we used the ones that the exterminators put down are the sort of tubes with poison in them and stuff, and I thought it would be nice to go the old-fashioned route. But just setting these things is terrifying in itself, you know what I mean? And they it's just on a hair trigger, this thing. And you put it down, you have to bend the kind of killing bar back, and it's all very, very minutely weighted so that the slightest bit of pressure on the pad will snap shut on the mouse. So it almost chopped my fingers off a couple of times. It was terrifying. And I had it in my head as well, like, since I was a kid that...
You had it in your head?
No, listen, that since I was a child, it had been drilled into me that if you go anywhere... It was
drilled into you?
There's no point in me talking, is there?
Sorry, no, I am following.
It had been drilled into me that if you put your finger in a mousetrap, you're going to lose your fingers.
Absolutely, by Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Yeah, exactly. So it was, just a horrible, nerve-wracking process. Anyway, I'm glad to say that I caught one very quickly, like pretty much 10 minutes after I set the trap.
Yeah.
I had one in there, squeaking away, but he wasn't dead. He was very much alive. He was just caught by his tail.
Oh.
So, what would you have done?
What would I have done? I would have talked to it and just explained the situation, tried to reason with it, you know. No need to go straight to war. That's got everybody into trouble before.
Yeah.
Push diplomacy as far as it can go.
But I had him right there, and, these guys are making my life a misery, and I hate them. But at the same time, I was thinking, this is a little chap. He's probably got a name, and he's on a kind of a family adventure. And you know what I mean? So I had to let him go.
Fievel, it could have been Fievel.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Going south. Fievel goes south
And
London.
they are very sweet. That's the thing, when you're staring at the little chap, I felt really sorry for it. I felt like the most evil man in the world. So I had to let him go.
We've had a great email about some mouse problems from a listener, and don't forget, you can email us at any time in the show, adamandjoe.6music@bbc.co.uk, or text 64046. It's now time for the news, read by Catherine Cracknell.
Digital radio.
Digital TV.
That the lyric of that song sounds like so many things other than bandages.
Like what?
Well, bag of chips.
Somebody's
texted in. It also sounds like something quite rude.
Oh, don't.
It does.
Yeah.
I'm merely observing that. There's a thing, if I was young, and when I was young, I often misunderstood the lyrics to songs. I'd be all over the place with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah?
You'd be delighted.
I'd be delighted. Sounds
Now,
like a bag of something else.
We were talking before about mice, and Joe mentioned that we had a very nice email from Steve. Steve Dugan. Hi, how you doing, Steve? Thanks a lot for listening to the show, and thanks for emailing us with this amazing story, which I will praise here. Steve also had mouse problems. One night I was working late, says Steve. I work from home. I heard a scuttling noise behind me and turned to see a tiny mouse running along the top of the cooker. This was a first. I had no idea how it got up there, but before I could catch it, it scurried down the back and was gone. I had the same thing just this morning, Steve. I can relate to that. It's a horrible feeling. You're totally powerless. A bit disconcerted, I went back to work. Some hours later, I stopped for a midnight snack, so I stuck the kettle on and popped a slice of bread into the toaster. A minute later, there was a strange smell. I presumed the toast was burning and went over to investigate. Halfway across the room, I realized it wasn't the toast I could smell, but singed fur. By this time, I put two and two together, flipped the toaster off, and nervously pulled out the toast. Running down its length were two dark lines, which on closer examination turned out to be charred fur. The little mouse, you say, I'm thinking, nice, got one, sweet. Result, well done, Steve. He says, I had no more trouble with mice. It was as if they all knew that this was the kitchen of death, and they stayed away. I also had a replacement toaster handy, which I promptly used. And although I always intended to chuck out the toaster of death, I never did. I left it there for the next tenant, which I feel a bit bad about, says Steve.
I wonder what mouse on toast tastes like.
Well, to me it would taste sweet, a little bit like revenge.
A little bit furry.
Yeah, like sweet furry revenge.
Yeah, there you go. Listen, coming up after the next track, we're going to be playing the nation's favourite interactive feature.
Yeah.
Text the Nation.
Stay tuned for that, but right now, here is Someone Great by LCD Sound System. Enjoy!
Text the nation. Text the nation.
What if I don't want to?
Text the nation.
But I'm using email. Is that a problem?
It doesn't matter. Text.
Yes, it's time for Text the Nation, the nation's favourite interactive feature on any media anywhere in the country.
It's not a competition.
It's not a competition,
All right.
It's a happening.
It's just a thing.
And that thing I just said about it being the nation's most popular interactive segment is not true.
It might be true.
It's not true.
It might
It's
be.
not true. It can't be.
Okay.
It can't be.
What do you think it is? What is
The
most
nation's
popular?
favourite interactive feature used to be Ant and Dec's Push a Piggy, or whatever it was called, the big pink piggy push.
Yeah.
Now, of course, things have changed.
Now, of course, they're going to be in jail for 25 years.
Yeah.
for
Now, the nation's favourite interactive feature.
You're going to say something rude, aren't you?
I don't
Okay.
know. But this week now, listeners, it's important to realise that we don't just make up this Text the Nation thing. It's given to us by Gordon Brown.
That's true.
The number 10 Downing Street posts us a question every week, and it's always something that the government want to find out about the people of the country.
They use it as a think tank.
They use it as a think tank. This week, they want to find out exactly how stupid everybody is,
That's right.
so they can work out what policies they can get away with. Yeah?
Yeah. This week's Text the Nation is all about the stupidest things or thing you have ever done.
It's quite broad. For instance, I've written a list, Adam.
Have you?
And this is just off the top of my head. This is a list of 14 stupid things I've done.
14. Good one.
Handing it over there to
Let's
Adam.
have a look.
He hasn't
Here,
seen this list. Some of them I actually don't want you to read out.
I'll show you. I've only got 3 there. Those
Really?
They're the absolute stupidest things.
This is like, mine is like, they're in no particular order, but I'd say they're 14 of the stupidest things I've ever done in my life. You can read some of them out.
Number 3. I drew armpit hair under my arms with a burnt bit of cork because I didn't have any armpit hair and I wanted some. Was this recent?
No.
That's quite good. Agreed to host the Q Awards. That's right. Well, I forgot that one. Voted for Tony Blair.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How stupid
Come on.
can you get?
Political?
Here's, what?
Go on then.
Here's some of Adam's. He's only got a list of 3 stupid things he's ever done. Number 2 is tried to lick the back of a metal ice tray.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that in more detail. Mixed bleach and cleaning fluid in the sink for an experiment. Is number 3. So, but listen, the point of this, listeners, is to get you to text in the stupidest thing you've ever done or email it. The text number is 64046. The email is Adam and Joe, all one word, and the word AND rather than ampersand.6music@bbc.co.uk.
Yeah, no, some of these I think are just cool that you've got on your list.
What? Don't read them all out.
No, I won't. But, no, maybe I shouldn't even read that one out because... we
Which
could
one is it?
Go to jail for that one. You know, the Degas one.
Oh, yeah, no, read that one out.
Tried to pick a piece of paint, like a bobble of paint, off a original haystack by Degas.
Oh, we can tell you more. That was both of us, wasn't it, Adam?
Yeah, we've probably spoken about that before.
I don't think we have.
And we'll tell you a bit.
We tried to. That's a terrible thing to confess to, but
Yeah.
remember, listeners, we didn't succeed,
And we were quite young and stupid.
and we were drunk. The
Yeah.
Degas is intact.
We were at a posh house, like a really posh house, and
Well,
they had
they had a Degas.
They had these
haystack hanging in the.
like they had amazing bits like Monet and Manet.
We were at a
paintings
party.
and-
We were drunk. We were about 15.
Yeah.
And we thought it would be clever to maybe try and pick some paint off the Degas, which actually, in retrospect, is an awful thing to do.
It's not very good, is it?
Absolutely dreadful, but we didn't do it, and all we did was pathetically sort of tweak at it with a fingernail.
We licked it in the end.
We licked it, we kissed it.
We licked the Degas.
Anyway, that's pretty stupid. Send us your stupidest things. It's not a competition, it's just a sort of a survey, but we might select our favourite. And you've won in a sort of an emotional way. No, you haven't.
No,
You
there's
haven't.
no
You're
winning.
Not,
There's
you're not
absolutely-
distinguished
you
in
can't
any
win.
respect whatsoever. Everyone's the same
Yeah. It's by no
here
means
in
any kind of
Stalinist Britain.
meritocracy. We're going to hear some more of the things on Joe's list of stupid things in just a moment. But right now, here is a track that we tried to play last week, but it went wrong because it turned out to be the instrumental version.
That's right. This is a great track. This is from Talib Kweli's album. I think it's called Eardrum. Is that on our factoid list? Where has it gone? Yeah. It features Will I Am of the Black Eyed Peas. Now, usually I would run 1 billion miles in the opposite direction from anything the Black Eyed Peas did, did. But they've done this one, and it's really good with Talib Kweli. This is called Hot Thing. That's a song written by Talib Kweli, actually about me.
Is it?
Yeah.
You've got something I like.
Yeah, we met, and I think he fancied me.
Yeah.
He said, you're sexy, I love your crunchy ass.
Ooh.
He said.
And what was he saying at the end there? Oprah show.
At the Oprah show.
Oprah
The
show.
Oprah show. He loves Oprah.
Oprah show.
Yeah.
Oprah show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good
No,
stuff,
he's
man.
saying, oh, for sure.
Oh.
For sure, for sure.
For sure.
For sure. Yeah.
For sure.
It's just a repeated affirmation. And it makes everyone feel good. This is Adam and Joe on BBC Six Music. We're in the middle of Text the Nation, the nation's favourite interactive non-competition. We've already had some very good stupid things in. Are you ready for this, Adam?
Yeah, hit me with a few.
Okay. To dry my trousers, I put them in a microwave at work and they melted. So I had to walk out of reception. Oh, this blooming machine keeps refreshing itself. Yeah. In my boxers, had to walk out of reception in my boxers to go home and get a new pair. That's from an anonymous man.
Yeah.
If you text us on 64046, please put your name or some kind of moniker. So we can credit you.
Lewinsky?
Now, can I say the word poo?
Yeah. Come on, it's a sad day when you can't say poo.
This isn't really a stupid thing. It's just disgusting. Should I read it?
Oh, well, as long as it's not too revolting.
I got locked out of my house and had to do a poo in an alleyway nearby.
Is that it? That's not necessarily stupid, though. That's just a necessity.
From R in Oxford. Is that the R? Is that Rakim from Eric B. and Rakim? I think it is. I think he's often seen squatting in alleyways. He's got a bad tummy. Keep them coming in, 64046. They're good, those ones, but I'm sure people can do better. We want something really quite elaborate.
You know, the fellow drying his trousers in the microwave reminded me of when I was in Edinburgh doing a show up there, and I was renting a little sort of squat while I was there for a month or whatever, and there was no question of there being a dryer there or anything like that.
Oh, no.
And one time, about an hour before my show was due to start, I was washing my show clothes, and
Big clown suit,
my
big spot polka dot suit.
Exactly. And the thing was, it was totally, I misjudged the timing of the whole thing. And I thought I was maybe going to be able to dry the clothes outside because it was a sunny day. But in Scotland, in Edinburgh that time of year especially, the weather changes on a dime or on a pinhead or very quickly or whatever the phrase is. And suddenly it started raining and there was no question of me drying the stuff in time. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do? And I turned on all the rings on the cooker, and I made a sort of elaborate framework out of, just things I could find lying around, and I hung my...
You tried to bake the clothes.
I tried to bake them, just like with all the steam.
What happened?
So they started to burn, and the steam set off all the fire alarms and stuff, and there was just alarms going, and they felt... It's a very stupid and dangerous
Lesson
thing
learned.
to do.
Clothes, generally material is flammable.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful with how you dry it.
It was one of the stupidest things
If
I've
you've
ever
done anything stupider than that, and I'm sure you have, and we're not talking about anything criminal or life-threatening or that would encourage other listeners to be irresponsible. We're talking about light, fluffy Saturday morning kind of stupidity.
Yeah.
Like,
Life-threatening stupidity is allowed, I think. Come on. I mean, of course, we don't want to encourage stupid
well, send it
behaviour.
in and I'll vet them.
All right.
Send in anything.
Now, we've got a little trail coming up for you. This is going to be an amazing trail for the electric proms. I really hope you enjoy it. And after that, it's my session pick. This is going to be Baby Bird from a BBC session from 1995 with a track called Too Handsome to Be Homeless. We'll chat about it after we hear it. Hey. Oh, I'm doing a little bit of fill-in here now, folks, because the computer's gone mental. I don't know what it's doing. It's just gone completely mental. And it's made an editorial decision to ditch Baby Bird's BBC session from 1995. I was going to play you Too Handsome to Be Homeless, which I think I heard when it was actually going out. And I remember it being wicked. So maybe we'll be able to dig that out for you a bit later on. But until then, we are going to play a track from Estelle right now. This is Wait a Minute.
Text the nation. Text the nation.
What if I don't want to?
Text the nation.
But I'm using email. Is that a problem?
It doesn't matter. Text.
Text the Nation, the nation's favourite feature. Before that, you heard Estelle there with the track called Wait a Minute. That was actually produced by Will.i.am. It's the Will.i.am show.
He's all over the shop this morning.
That was taken from Estelle's forthcoming album, Shine, which is released in February of next year. You got to wait a long time for that one, but it sounds interesting stuff, so probably well worth the wait.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading the text. You're not going to get much from me.
No, I
this
stunned myself
link.
into boredom by saying, well worth the wait there.
I'm just printing out some of these stupid things people are sending in.
Just to remind
There's
you
torrents of stupid things coming in.
Yeah,
And they're
yeah.
brilliant.
Text the Nation. The subject this week is the stupidest things you've ever done.
I print them.
I'm going to return to my list now of stupid things. And Joe mentioned before that once when I was very young, young enough probably for it to be excusable, I would say, before I knew any better, I licked the back of a metal ice tray. This was in a hotel. We were on holiday and I was excited that I had a fridge in my room and there was a metal ice tray there and it was all frosty when I took it out and I thought, that looks frostalicious. So I licked the back of it. Of course, my tongue stuck fast to the back of the ice tray. And it was so shocking that it was so firmly stuck on there that I panicked and I just tore it off. And immediately I saw basically the top few millimeters of my tongue.
Was there blood?
You bet there was blood, yeah.
Man.
There was just left, a large part of my tongue was just left on the ice tray. And I thought, that's not good. And I went to the mirror, poked out my tongue. It was just red raw with blood. It was like a big blood.
Can you taste now?
It took a while before I
Really?
could taste. Yeah.
It was shocking.
It was not only painful, it was in every way, it was shocking. It looked horrific. It was probably worse. Thing is, the tongue is one of the parts of the body that heals quickest.
Is it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Really?
So it didn't
It's
take...
like a kind of immortal slug.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is exactly like an immortal slug. And it healed very quickly, luckily. But boy, that was way up there on the stupid
What one
list.
do you want off of my list of stupid things?
Okay, here's another one. Oh yeah, I remember this one. Lied to Ahmet and Dweezil Zappa about having heard their album and got instantly called on it.
This is a very stupid thing. Adam and me were filming a segment with Frank Zappa's sons,
Yeah.
Ahmed and Dweezil, for a TV show we used to do. We were hanging around around a pool table, right?
Yeah, this was up in Frank Zappa's house in Laurel Canyon in California.
A while ago, and I did the terrible thing that you should never do. I said, "Hey guys, I really enjoyed your new album."
To try and get chummy
Sort
with
of
them.
generic terminology like that. And what did they say? They went, "Oh, you haven't heard our new album.
Yeah.
Name a song." And I couldn't because I hadn't heard it. And it was a horrible, mortifying moment.
I've still got the, I don't believe that we ever actually used the footage we shot on that day.
No,
we
it
used
was hideous.
We had to go back and reshoot part of it with Ahmed,
Ahmed, yeah.
who was the nicer of the two, but Dweezil absolutely hated us. Probably with slightly good reason.
I think me more than you,
he
because you
was-
had heard the album.
Yeah, but I didn't even like the album that he did very much. He's surly and sarcastic for the rest of the day. It was a terrible day. But that was pretty bad start.
So listen, after this next track, we'll come back with some of your stupid things, and we've got some brilliant stuff coming in. Keep them coming in to 64046. Your stupid things make Adam and me look clever.
That's right. Now, here's Travis with Selfish Gene.
Text the nation. Text the nation.
What if I don't want to?
Text the nation.
But I'm using email. Is that a problem?
It doesn't matter, text.
Are we overplaying that jingle?
No, you can't overplay the
Really?
Text the Nation jingle.
Really?
That's just a reminder, isn't it? To remind people what we're doing, what it's all about, what the rules are, whether they can email or
What
text.
are we doing?
We are asking people what the stupidest things they've ever done are.
What's it all about?
That's different. That's a kind of more profound question,
It's a
which I'm
metaphysical
not
question.
equipped to answer at this
Not on
point.
a Saturday morning.
No.
Thanks to everybody who's texted in with the stupidest thing they've ever done. Keep texting 64046 or emailing adamandjoe.6music@bbc.co.uk. Are you ready for some, Adam
Yeah,
Buxton?
go on then.
Okay, here we go. My landlord at university agreed to get us new sofas because ours were flammable. So one night I dragged them all out into our small concrete yard and set light to them for a nice bonfire. The fire got higher and higher, and the concrete started to uproot itself and fly out of the ground.
What?
Is that real? The neighbour's
this a
washing
dream?
caught fire. I felt very stupid, says Anna in Glasgow. She may have, elaborated,
Yeah.
exaggerated a tiny bit. I doubt the concrete actually started to
Maybe
fly out
she's
of
not
the
talking
ground.
about the concrete, but it's more like sort
Maybe the university she went to was Hogwarts.
yeah. or it was perhaps the kind of surface you get on a tennis court. You know what I mean? Like tarry.
That's bad. Don't set light to things ever.
You know,
Leave
when
it to
you're
responsible individuals.
when
Firemen.
you're a youngster, obviously, you know, when you're sort of getting to grips with your limitations, stupid fire mistakes often happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, did you ever get into any fire scrapes?
Probably. I'd have to think about it.
I mean, it's terrifying. You should obviously never play with fire because it can so easily get out of control.
Well
But
said.
I almost burnt a whole field down one time, you know?
Listen, this isn't about you.
Well, it's partly about it.
Go on then.
That was it. I almost burnt
did
a
you?
field down, yeah.
How about this one? At a Cotswold Wildlife Park, I accidentally knocked a panel of fencing on the what's this word?
Avocet.
That's an animal, isn't it? Avocet? We're not very well educated, listeners. Avocet. At a Cotswold Wildlife Park, I accidentally knocked the panel of fencing on the avocet enclosure with my knee, and it fell in, leaving a gaping hole. The birds ran for freedom, and I just managed to get the panel back in place before the avocets escaped and caused fear and mayhem.
Wow.
I bet you that's not how you pronounce avocet. Avocet? Avocet. I don't know, but that sounds bad. Creating an animal stampede in a wildlife park.
Yeah, that's disastrous. That's like Frank Spencer style behaviour.
Okay, well, hold on to this one. Somebody sent in a very similar one to one of yours, Adam, so we can talk about it a bit later. Adam and Joe, the most silliest thing I've done was to leave my wife.
No.
Says Carl. Thank you, Carl. And here's a very good one from Tom in Dulwich. I saw Tom York in a sandwich shop and said to him the following. Thanks a lot for no surprises. It meant a lot of things to a lot of people.
That's all right. What's wrong with that?
It's quite general, isn't it?
No, come
And
on.
it's like he's reporting on behalf of other people. I think that would be a good text the nation to do another morning, is the stupidest thing you've ever said to a famous person.
We did that once before, didn't
Did we? Well, let's do it again.
Yeah. Well, we think we said we had insulting things you said to a famous person before, didn't we?
Yeah, do you want one more?
Yeah, go on then.
This is from Nick Osborne in Twickenham. He says the second stupidest thing he did was drink about 8 pints of strong lager before heading off to a Cure concert with my buddy Tomo. We were running, both literally and figuratively, late, so we screamed onto a tube platform and dived into the train that was already there. I turned around, but Tomo wasn't there. I stuck my head out to see if he was still on the platform, just as the doors closed, trapping my face in between the big black rubber trims.
That's cool.
I was stuck fast, but worse was to come. The guard jigged the doors 3 or 4 times. Each time my larger compromised reactions were too slow, so I only succeeded in getting even darker stripes down each side of my face.
Is this from Mr. Bean?
And Bean. And with each jolt, my wire glasses became more and more bent.
Come on.
It's Frank Spencer. I eventually extracted myself from face prison. The whole carriage was in fits of laughter.
I'm sure they were, if that really happened. I can't believe that happened. I mean, that is colossally stupid. Congratulations. If there was a
done,
prize, you would certainly be very high on the list for it. We'll have a few more of those texts soon. But after this track, we're going to remind you of the Song Wars situation. So stay tuned for that. But right now, here's the new Young Pony Club with Get Lucky. She sounds sassy.
That's the new Young Pony Club, not the old Young Pony Club. They're yesterday's
Pony
This is
Club.
the new one.
Yeah, and they're young.
Oh, they're young, so stay tuned to their output for the next couple of weeks until they get old.
Yeah.
When chuck 'em away and move on to the next big thing. Adam and Joe on Six Music.
Old Pony Club. I hate the old Pony Club. Right, now it's time to remind ourselves of the Song Wars situation.
Yes. If you've just tuned in, Song Wars is a brand new segment here on the Adam and Joe Saturday morning show. I just gave it a name.
Well done.
It's where we make songs and we play clips of them, and you have to text in and vote for which one you'd like to hear in its entirety.
It's a kind of a creative facet to our self-absorbed little universe.
Yeah.
You know, and these are entirely
Self-penned.
little songs, and I've got a new jingle. Yet another new jingle for you, okay? So you can see what you think of this one. This is a bit more medieval stroke early Led Zepp.
Nice.
Who will win the Song Wars today? Perhaps it will be Adam, or it could be Joe. Either one, you will be the one who decides by texting or emailing when you hear the clips.
You fade that bit down there.
No, keep it going. Turn it up, turn it up.
They're like madrigals.
What happens now?
You're supposed to not listen
Yeah,
to
but
this
how
bit.
long did you keep doing it? Keep it up. How long did he keep doing it?
Quite a long time. It's really, there's not that much.
Gosh. Oh, what happened there?
There's a little flourish.
It was a medieval. It sounded slightly rude. Poupou-la.
Yeah, that's
Poupou-la-la.
medieval.
Isn't that a Roy Ayers song?
No,
Poupou-la-la.
there was a Roy Ayers song called Poupou-la-la.
Okay, so here are the clips. Stand by with your texting fingers, 64046 if you want to hear Adam's song, text AD, A-D. If you want to hear Joe's song, text Joe, J-O.
A reminder that Joe Cornish won last week's inaugural
What-
Song Wars.
Why? Why should people know that?
No, okay, we're not going to prejudice the voting in any way. We're not going to find out who's winning until the very end. It's going to be a genuine revelation to both of us. Now, we're going to play a clip of my track first. This is Scallywag with a song about people with their mobiles on the bus. It's called Tiny Mobile Speakers.
My mobile comes with tiny speakers in it. If you don't, then you should win it. Check these out in just 1 minute. It's gonna be a party on the bus. Nice. Everyone will be impressed because my speakers is the best. They passed the tiny speaker test sent by my mate Matthew.
Yeah.
There we go. So that's song number 1. Adam's song, text add to 64046. This is like the X Factor, isn't it?
It's very similar.
Or this is song number 2. This is my song, Joe's song. This is called the Public Transport Song. And this is kind of Ben Folds 5 meets Chaz and Dave. And it's just a song about public transport, yeah?
9:30 on the 133. Some kids are throwing chips and causing misery. I stand up to say, hey, sit down. So they dislocate my jaw and kick me into the ground.
Nice
It
harmonies
does a
there.
little modulation there.
Now, I hope that didn't happen to you. Did it really happen to you there?
No.
Dislocated your jaw, they kicked you to the ground. That's horrific stuff.
No, it didn't happen. My song's a lie.
Okay, good.
It's a tissue of lies. And somebody's texted in, by the way, talking about lies. I can't find it on the text thing, to say that you pronounce that bird,
Avocet.
avocet, avocet.
The way I originally pronounced it. Speaking of corrections as well, Mark texted in earlier to say that the things, the business end of a fork, they are called tines, okay?
Thanks,
Not-
listeners, for
not
correcting
prongs.
us as we go along.
We love to be corrected.
Yeah, it's important to get everything factually correct
Not
here in the Big
prongs.
British Castle.
You could go to jail.
Do you realise that everything that's broadcast by the Big British Castle is actually embroidered on a big scroll by fishwives?
Yeah, the nation's favourite tapestry, it's called.
Yeah, and it's stored. All shows are tapestrized.
Yeah.
Almost by a sort of tapographer,
Yeah.
and it's stored forever. So it's important to get things right.
Yeah, exactly. The whole contents of this show right now are being woven as we speak. Now it's time to return to the BBC session from Baby Bird that we tried to play earlier on. Now, whose show was this?
Baby Bird, are you there now?
Session
Come
on
in, Baby
originally?
Bird.
Which one? Oh, it was on Mark and Lard's, and I'm pretty sure I was listening to this as it went out on the 12th of December 1995. This is Baby Bird with Too Handsome to Be Homeless.
Adam's pick of the BBC archive.
We are not cool, we are not crazy. We steal cars because we're lazy. We are not risky, we are not bad. We burn down houses just to make us sad. I'm too handsome to be homeless. 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 We are not famous, we are not known. We break into hotels just to feel at home. We cannot read and we cannot write. We make out in cars, then we set them alight. I'm too handsome to be homeless. I'm too handsome to be homeless. I'm too handsome to be homeless. I'm too handsome to be 17.
New to Saturday night. BBC Introducing with Tom Robinson.
Introducing interesting new artists who are putting great music online. Frankly, the more startling the better. Hopefully all the people who've been crying out for us to play more adventurous music by unsigned bands will be able to find something they like in every show. We want you to suggest any really amazing stuff that you've found out there online. Just let us know via the new introducing webpage at bbc.co.uk/6music.
BBC Introducing with Tom Robinson from midnight.
2 hours of new music fresh from the net on BBC 6 Music.
Adam and Joe.
On 6 Music.
I'm a soul man.
You're not a soul man.
I am.
No, you're not.
Good film though, Soul Man.
Lou Reed.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, Lou Reed
C.
did
Thomas
a
Howell?
reversioned version of that song for that film. Do you remember the Lou Reed's version?
For the film Soul Man with C. Thomas Howell,
Yeah.
which is a very politically incorrect film about a young white chap who changes the colour of his skin using dyeing products in order to get into a college on a bursary or
A
something.
minorities bursary, yeah, to exploit a sort of minorities loophole.
It's not good.
No, but he gets his comeuppance, doesn't he? He's shamed. Yeah. He's absolutely shamed, the guy. It's a little bit like, what's that film with Adam Sandler recently where they have to pretend to be gay in order to get some...
I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
There you go, yeah. It's the same sort of thing, like straight white people sort of saying, oh, that's not fair, all the gays
Fish
and
out of water
minorities are getting all the breaks. It's kind of insane.
So we've been running Text the Nation, our very important national survey that we do every Saturday morning here on BBC 6 Music, and we've been asking our listeners what the stupidest thing they've ever done is, and it appears that all of our listeners are pretty stupid.
Glad to hear it.
Funny coincidence there. Here, so you ready for some?
Yeah, go on then.
This is from John Samuel. While I was at my first real girlfriend's house, I crept up behind her as she was washing up, put my hands on her breasts, and gave them a good squeeze.
Yeah.
When she turned around, it was not her, it was her mother.
Bad one.
We were not together for long after that.
I'm sure. That's disastrous.
Very good.
I mean, that beggars belief, though. What a lunatic.
Sexy, though.
That is quite sexy.
Something slightly sexy about that
Yeah, I
one.
bet you thought about that since.
Yeah. Here's another one. When I was very young, I flicked one of my testicles as hard as I could to see if it would hurt. I was nearly sick. Jamie in Birmingham. I like that because it's just there's no reason or context. It's just to see if it would hurt.
He's
That's a
obviously
good
never
plan.
been flicked in the shower by someone's towel.
No.
That's the same sort of situation there.
Sounds just like a slightly homoerotic picture you're painting.
You never
of
got
your
flicked
younger days.
in the showers? And
I've never
at
been
sports?
flicked in the showers at sports. No, luckily. Here's another one. After watching Superman crush a piece of coal and produce a diamond, I believed that every lump of coal must contain a sparkling gem within. I proceeded to scrub some coal with my mum's toothbrush for hours and hours, desperately seeking the non-existent treasure inside. That's from Murray Hamilton in Morecambe.
Wow.
That's quite sweet.
That is sweet. And I can totally understand where you're coming from. I thought the same sort of thing.
When I was 11, this is from Ali in Bury. When I was 11, I swallowed the steel ball bearing from a screwball scramble game. I guess that's a game. Do you remember screwball scramble?
Can't say I do.
Anyway, he was 11. He swallows the steel ball. My mother made me poo it into a potty to check that it came out. It did. It was bleached. And said ball still rattles around in the game in its own tarnished way. They still play with the same blemished ball.
Bowel ball.
It's time for the news with Catherine Cracknell and Andre Payne.
That's nice, isn't it? Tumbling Dice by the Rolling Stones. This is Adam and Joe here on BBC Six Music.
Now, this week, Adam and listeners, I believe I saved the capital from a terrible terrorist incident.
Did you?
Yeah, I was on the Underground.
Yeah.
I was reading Stephen King's The Mist.
Right.
I was deeply engrossed in the tentacle horror. When suddenly I realised that the people sitting around me were staring in my direction.
Oh.
And I looked to my right. I was right next to the glass partition on the Underground.
Yeah.
I looked to my right. There was a brown briefcase lying in the middle of the floor, utterly unattended. And it looked exactly like an image they might put on a warning poster.
Right.
It looked as if it was packed full of badness.
Yeah.
So everyone was looking at it nervously, and across the way there was a kind of Portuguese man, Spanish man. I'm handsome, he was handsome. So already it's like a film with two sexy men.
Yeah.
And he had a beautiful girlfriend, she was sexy. It was all very sexy and exciting.
It was like the Bourne
It was
supremacy.
like the Bourne Ibrembacy.
Yeah.
And he stands up, I stand up, we approach the unidentified, unattended bag. He starts touching it with his foot to see how heavy it is.
Not kicking it, though.
No, everybody starts going, no, don't do that.
Don't touch the bomb bag!
Don't touch the bomb bag. But then what happens is this. I decide to go and tell the driver. We stop. Basically, we discuss pressing the red button and stopping the train in the tunnel. But we think, no, if there was smoke coming from it, if it was ticking, maybe we'd do that. No, we'll wait for the train to get to the next station.
Yeah.
So we get to the next station.
Very British.
Very British. I run up the whole length of the train, right? Because the unattended bag is in the very rear carriage. I run the entire length of the train. I'm sexy. My jacket's billowing behind me.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the other people on the tube? What's happening? Who's that?
Who's that sexy
man? Looks like Jason Bourne. Running up the train. I knock on the window of the driver's compartment. He's a studious-looking driver. He's got round John Lennon glasses, slightly grey hair, quite thin. Looks like he takes his job very seriously.
Yeah.
What's the matter, sir? I say, bomb bag. There's an unattended bag in the second or third carriage. I'm not sure. From the rear of the train. We don't know what to do. Suddenly, I look behind me. The Spanish man. He's sexy. He's wearing like a leather jacket. You can't see it from this distance, but I'm just giving you more detail.
Yeah.
He's wearing a leather jacket with motorbike logos on it. You know, that's how sexy he is.
Right.
He's waving at me from the other end of the train. He's shouting, "It's fine! It's fine!" Like this. What? And so I say to the driver, "It might be fine, but I'm just going to go and check.
It's not the bomb bag!
If it is fine, I'll wave at you." The driver said, "Okay." Everyone on the train is wondering what the hold-up is. I run right back down the entire length of the train. Still sexy. A tiny bit more sexy because I'm sweating now. It's exciting. And I get back to the carriage. The bomb bag's gone. It was just a man's bag. And he'd left it. And while I'd been talking to the driver, he'd come back and got it. "Sorry, left my bag. Bye. Gone off with the bag."
Wow.
So the Brazilian man goes, "It's fine, it's just it."
He's Brazilian.
Brazilian? I don't know, that's just topical, isn't it? He's Portuguese or something. He goes, "It's fine, the man came for the bag." He doesn't speak like that. I'm exaggerating it, this is the movie version. "Hey, come for bag, it's fine." So I smile, we sit down. The best thing that happens, the train pulls away, the best thing that happens is the guard comes over the tannoy. "Thanks a lot, guys, for helping me out."
No.
Like in an action film.
God props.
Yeah. "Thanks a lot, guys, for helping us out."
Community spirit.
The rest of the train's like, "Who? What? Who?" Me and the guy, we look at each other. If it had been a film, and it had been a bomb and more exciting things had happened, I think he would have probably got offed in the action.
Right.
And I would have copped off with his girlfriend.
His girlfriend, yeah. You would have consoled her in her grief, and then eventually...
Exactly. We would have kissed.
You would have had
maybe
a
at the end. Yeah.
That's a very moving story, man. Well, that's a positive little tale of
working together, crossing boundaries
in the face of terrorism. I've got a story that isn't quite so positive about the effects of terrorism and the current climate of fear.
Shall we have some music first,
But
maybe?
yes, let's hear from Adele right now with Hometown Glory.
Oh, my world, yeah.
That's Adele. She's only 19, born in Tottenham and raised in Brixton, and that's her debut single. She's been songwriting and playing guitar since she was 14. And sounds a little bit like Winehouse.
It's only 5 years.
Yeah.
Not that long.
You're not impressed by that?
Nah, come on.
If she was like doing it since if she had her first hit single at 6,
That would impress me.
that would be a little more impressive. But
These
as it
days
is-
you're over the hill at 6.
exactly 19.
Simon Cowell isn't interested.
Gotta give up, man. If you haven't hit by the time you're 17, you
It's
are
all over.
past it, brother.
Hey, guess who's doing the new Orange advert?
You.
No, Macaulay Culkin.
Culkin? I'm glad.
Well, Adam and I like to monitor which stars do the Orange Cinema adverts.
Oh, right, with, yes, with Steve
Sort of
First
like
and everyone.
watching lemmings run off a cliff.
Yeah, and does he acquit himself reasonably
I haven't
well?
seen it.
Right, I'll look out for that one.
Anyway, before that track, I was telling you my action-packed saving London from a terrible incident story. I got a little bit of a burp.
Oh.
Adam, what was your one?
Well, I was doing a little bit of filming for this pilot I'm doing for the BBC, and it was a hilarious character that I was doing out in the street. I was basically doing a spoof of those chaps with megaphones who preach tediously for Jesus on the street corners of the West End and all round London, basically saying things like...
And other major cities around the British Isles.
So yes, of course. You know, there's one guy in particular who says things like, I don't believe in all this lying, gossiping and sinning that people do. I mean, it's a waste of your life to use your words to go around swearing at people and using filthy language out of your mouth. Don't be a sinner when you can be a winner.
His name's Phil.
That kind of thing, yeah.
He's quite a famous character.
He's not around at the moment. He's on holiday, I think, Phil. Anyway, my version was a very pathetic, satanic preacher, right? It was quite an obvious little joke to do. And,
preaching evil.
But he was like really pathetic, you know, and he's basically preaching on behalf of Satan, trying to get you on board for the dark side. And, you know, this character I was doing had a sort of, Antipodean accent, a little skidding around from New Zealand to Australia.
The home of evil.
Right. And I was wearing a wig and a moustache and bandana, and I looked a little bit like a sort of fatter version of Ron Kovic from Born on the 4th of July.
Fatter? Even fatter?
Yeah. And anyway, so, and I was saying things like, if you're lazy, you might consider working for Satan. Just remember, stick with Satan, because the hours are great and so are the perks. So don't be jerks and don't go to works. Things like that, right? It was pretty ineffectual. That was the point of the thing. It was supposed to be pathetic. Anyway, after a while, I was approached by Eros. I was not actually approached by Eros. I was stood by Eros in
the statue.
Piccadilly Circus, yeah, in the heart of London town. And I was approached by a community police officer. Right? Have you ever come across these guys before? How long have community police officers been around now? A few years. Anyway,
What does he say?
This guy comes up to me and he asked me to turn off my little speaker. And it was a very small speaker that I had, not nearly as loud as these guys with the massive megaphones. And he told me in no uncertain terms that I was violating anti-terror laws by preaching hate.
It's illegal to preach hate.
And I said, what do you mean, mate? And I carried on with the Australian accent because I was being filmed at the time. So I thought, stay in character.
It's going to be good for the show. Good
might
material.
be good footage. So I said, what do you mean, preaching hate? He's like, well, you're talking about Satan. I was like, yeah, but, you know, I'm not saying anything like you got to go out and kill people. I'm just saying, you know, if you got with Satan a little bit, you might not have to work so hard. You know, just slack off a bit. That's what Satan stands for. And anyway, this guy was having none of it. And I said, who am I? He said, well, it's offensive and you're violating anti-terror laws. I said, come on, who am I offending, mate? And he said, you're offending me because I'm a staunch Roman Catholic. And so I said, that's not your mandate, is it? As a community police officer, to go around arresting people or threatening to arrest people who are offending you personally just because of your religious views? What happened to free speech? It's outrageous. Anyway, so he was sort of a little bit unsettled by that, because I think it's a fair point, you know what I mean?
What happened in the end? Arrested?
Almost arrested, and and then he started getting upset about my moustache. He's saying, "Is that a fake moustache?"
That is illegal.
And I said, yeah, it might be. And because it was clearly a fake moustache. And he said, I said, what's the problem with that? And he said, that's subversive terrorist behavior. That's the kind of thing that terrorists do. And I said, you're joking, aren't you? Come on, do me a favor. And then he said, right, I'm going to arrest you. And I said, no, you can't. Oh, don't arrest me. At that point, I started getting a bit freaked out, right? Because I'm doing this pilot for the Big British Castle, and it's a sensitive time for everybody in the castle. And I was thinking, oh man, if I really get arrested by this guy, it's not going to be good.
That's it. It's curtains for Bucko's TV career.
Exactly. So he said, give us your name. And at that point, like any self-respecting, subversive, anti-authoritarian.
Would have said Ronald Smudge.
Exactly. Ronald Smudge or Andy Peters or Richard Bacon or whatever.
Peters.
I just gave him my real name immediately.
That's sensible, man. That's quite right.
I know, but it's a bit spineless, isn't it? So I showed my true lily-livered colours just to get out of a tight spot there. Also, in the process, kind of ruining the piece that I was doing. But man, it was tough, and I must say I felt pretty outraged.
Really? Shall I tell you a couple of things?
Yeah.
I'm Roman Catholic.
Are you?
And you've insulted me.
Really?
And my brother's a policeman.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make
insult.
him arrest you.
Okay, fair enough.
I agree with that community policeman. So let's see what the band Phoenix have to say about it. That was Phoenix with Everything Is Everything. Yeah, that was one of my picks.
Very nice.
So, yeah, thanks.
They are French. They're from France.
They're from France.
I like it.
The lead singer, he goes out. I do not know if it still goes out, but for a while he goes out with Scarlett Johansson.
No, he does not, mate. He goes out with Sofia Coppola.
Sofia Coppola, that's what I meant. That's what
you had them in your brain. They were confused.
In my brain.
Because of the film.
Pop music.
She directed the film. They are the one she stars in the film.
Novels.
And they both go out with him.
Pop music.
That's what it is in your head there. Now, we are asking you to text us about some of the stupidest things you've ever done. You know, having told that story about my abuse of my right to free speech there, in a way I feel as if my little, satanic preacher stunt was quite stupid, but still.
Here's a stupid thing from Will in Edinburgh. He says, one hungover morning, I decided it might be a giggle to stick a pair of small fishing lights up my nose using little magnets.
Fishing lights?
Flashing lights. You might have fishing lights. Some fishermen use lights to attract deep sea fish.
Yeah,
all right. Stick with it.
Flashing lights.
Flashing lights onto my nose using little magnets I'd put up my nostrils.
That's a good idea.
None of my poor company was amused at this wacky behaviour, so I took them off at the same time, causing the little magnets to clip together either side of my septum.
Oh.
I tried many things to get them out. Fingers, skewers, sneezing, other magnets, but none availed. So I had to make the A&E trip of shame and ask the kindless receptionist, "Hi, I've got some magnets up my nose. Can you help?" They did. It wasn't pretty. The doctor decided to get as many students, nurses, janitors and passers-by to come and watch this stupid idiot having them scraped out of his nose.
Oh, dear.
Nice one, Will. Here's one from a very silly Peter Green in Seward's End, Saffron Walden. I once stayed in all weekend because the antibiotics I was taking came with a warning that said, "Do not expose to direct sunlight." When my girlfriend came to visit me on the Sunday evening, she explained the warning applied to the tablets and not to me.
Well, I want to know how old he was. He must have been pretty old when
he was 73. Dear Adam and Joe, this is from Chris from Oxford. When I was younger, I was given the very cool Goldfinger Aston Martin, the James Bond toy car. I guess he means, with the press of a button, you could make the machine guns pop out, raise the bulletproof screen, and shoot a small plastic man out of the ejector seat.
I remember that.
For some reason, I thought it was the logical next step to insert the little plastic blue man up my nose. This is like a nose-themed stupidity section, where it remained lodged for an entire Sunday, much to my mother's distress.
It's scary when you put things. It's a terrible idea to put anything up your nose.
I stuffed my nose full of lavender leaves when I was a kid.
Oh,
because they smelled so nice.
I
wanted to really smell them good.
I want non-stop potpourri.
So I stuffed them all the way up there. they wouldn't come out. But
Potpourri.
eventually they decomposed.
Yeah, that's awful. Now, you've got to be really careful because things can easily disappear up there and then you're really stuffed. It's like, that's why that scene in Total Recall where Arnold Schwarzenegger is trying to retrieve the little bugging device up in his nose. Do you remember that?
All up in his nose.
He's got a machine and its little robot arm and it goes in there and it grabs the thing and it pulls it out his nose. That's a good moment from the
Are we going to have music?
thing.
Yeah.
We got a trail first, though,
Oh,
right?
a trail. Here's a trail for an exciting upcoming programme here on the BBC.
The new sound of 6.
BBC 6 Music.
In the...
That's Reverend and the Makers with Open Your Window. This is Adam and Joe on 6 Music. It's 6 minutes past 11 on Saturday morning.
And sorry.
It's time for Song Wars, the war of the songs. A couple of tunes by a couple of prongs, so check it out.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was going to say as well, in case anyone wanted to know what the track we played before that was, it was The Mayor of Simpleton by XTC.
Good stuff.
A wonderful song.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's time for a Song Wars update right now. The theme for Song Wars this week was suggested to us by a listener.
Yeah, the listener who suggested this was Daniel from Durham, who sent us the following email during last week's show. Quote, I've got a great idea for the theme for next week's Song Wars. You could do songs about taking public transport. Imagine all the emotions that can be described. Awkward shuffling on a bus, being annoyed by someone's mobile on the underground, and so on. You love it, don't you? Yeah, it's great. Daniel from Durham. Daniel, thank you for that email. It was a brilliant suggestion, and we've acted upon it.
Yeah.
And the two songs are up for your votage this morning.
And we've both gone for sort of bus experiences, haven't we?
No.
Are you not on the bus?
No,
you're
my
on?
song deals with a broader range of public transport, Adam, which cannot be represented by the short excerpt Jude has chosen.
Oh,
to
right.
illustrate it. Yeah, these are merely clips you're hearing.
These are clips.
These are peeks through the keyhole of the song.
And if you, well, we'll hear both songs in their entirety as the last thing.
Both songs?
Yeah, we're going to hear both songs. It's a question of who actually is voted for as the best. You know, we're totting it up week on week.
Okay, this is a kind of, you're judging these things on quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both get played, but one for shame and one for glory.
Exactly.
So here are the two clips. Which clip is first? Let's hear my clip first.
Let's hear Joe's this time.
Joe's song. Wait, this is a Ben Folds 5 Chaz and Dave style exploration of public transport. Yeah, here it is.
9:30 on the 133. Some kids are throwing chips and causing misery. I stand up to say, hey, sit down. So they dislocate my jaw and kick me into the ground.
It's got a touch of sort of High School Musical. It's kind of uplifting. The kids are gonna love it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's that song. That's Joe's song. If you want to hear that one in its fullness, then text 64046. Text Joe to 64046.
And now this is my track. This is a Scallywag with tiny mobile speakers. Here's a little extract for you.
My mobile comes with tiny speakers in it. If you don't, then you should win it. Check these out in just 1 minute. It's gonna be a party on the bus. Nice. Everyone will be impressed because my speakers is the best. They passed the tiny speaker test set by my mate Matthew.
Now, through my headphones, that doesn't sound as stereorific as it did when I was mixing
Sounds
it.
good, man.
But we should remind you that you can hear these songs after the show today on the website. And, of course, you can listen again to the entire show, this week's show, that is. And you can also hear last week's songs, can't you? Last week's entries for Song Wars.
But they're being banked, the songs.
Yeah.
They're going to be worthless. We were thinking of releasing an album, but now...
Well, we're going to remove them after a couple of weeks or
remove them,
whatever.
yeah.
1 week.
Hey, and here is here's the number if you want to hear Adam's song in full text. Adam,
We're going to hear both in
add-
full.
Yeah, come on, that just makes a nonsense. Let's just pretend. that it's
What's the point of pretending?
640? Because if
No, because they're voting for which one is best.
Oh right, if
Yeah.
if you think it's you're quite right. If you think Adams is the best, text add to 64046. And we've been very mature about the songs this week. Last week there was some childish squabbling and competitiveness. that lowered the tone of the show.
I don't think people have any conception of quite how competitive we are. I think they think that it's like a joke and we're always laughing about it, but they don't realize it's deadly serious, and it could ruin pretty much anyone's
It's not for
day.
me.
It is mostly for
It's
you.
not. I'm really chilled about it.
Let's have some more
I want
music.
to win!
This is a track that I chose for you. This is Dear Hoof, and it's an amazingly strange band that I actually first saw at All Tomorrow's Parties, which is a great sort of indie weirdo festival that happens at Canberra Sands. And I saw this band, and they, to be honest with you, they weren't that good. But still, they were so interesting that I went and checked out their album, and their most recent one, which is called Friend Opportunity, has got some amazing stuff on it. I hope you like this. It's quite odd, and it's called Plus 81 by Dear Hoof.
Extraordinary business.
Beep, beep.
That was good, man. That was very peculiar. It sounds like the kind of music that you might have to listen to a few times to understand its structure, and then might be really good.
It's strange, and you know, I've been enjoying them very much. There's good stuff on all their albums. That's Dear Hoof.
Do you know who liked it?
Who?
Gordon.
Thanks, Gordon. Glad you liked
Texted
it.
in saying thanks for the Dear Hoof. First really good song of the day.
Friend Opportunity is the name of the album, Gordon. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And the Fiery Furnaces are another band I've been listening to a lot recently, who are not totally dissimilar in spirit. You know what I mean? Like sound-wise, obviously a different kettle of cod. In fact, maybe we can dig out a Fiery Furnaces session track, if there is such a thing for some point. Anyway, let's have a couple more texts right now from the world of the stupid text
Says Adam, assuming I've got some prepared.
Have you not got any in your bucket? Let me just read out one from Joe's list that we haven't had so far.
This is one of our stupid things we've done.
This is stupidest things that we've ever done. And now this is one that I can relate to because I've done this many times. Moved my entire bedroom after 15 years in my house. Slept there for one night, didn't like it, moved it all back the next day. So where did you move it all to? Just the next door room?
This is when I was about 15. I'd slept in the same room in my mum and dad's house for my whole life. I decided I was bored of it, and I move it. I had quite a lot of furniture, so single-handedly I moved it onto the floor below, the room beside my mum and dad's bedroom.
Yeah.
The shelves, the bed, the desks, the computer, the stereo, every single poster, every book, video, all the toys, games, stuffed toys, everything, all the way down. Moved everything out of that room back into my room, arranged it, all the furniture, all the stuff I detailed before. Took all day. Spent one night in the new room, and then realised my mum and dad could hear everything I was doing. They could hear me listening to Pipes of Peace.
Yeah.
They could hear me enjoying myself late at night.
With the frog chorus.
With the frog chorus. It wasn't with the frog chorus.
Yeah.
Well, sort of was. And so I thought this is a bad idea. The next day they went to lunch with someone in the countryside or something. When they came back, I single-handedly re-swapped.
What made you think it was a
both of
good
the
idea
rooms.
to move in the first place?
I just wanted a change of scene.
Change of scene. Was it a bigger room that
I decided
next to your parents?
I was grown up, I was 15, I deserved to be on the grown-up floor.
Right.
Not on the kiddie floor anymore, I was wrong.
Here's another thing that's on Joe's list. Jumped down the stairs blindfolded, rushed to hospital in an ambulance, felt fine halfway there.
Yeah, I was impressing childhood friends by jumping downstairs blindfolded onto mats.
Yeah.
I hit my back. It was very painful. Ambulance was called because you don't take any risks with back injuries.
No.
I felt fine after about 2 minutes in the ambulance with the siren on racing through London. Felt fine.
Were your parents with you?
Yeah, my mum said, pretend, just when we get there, just pretend, just make it feel bad at first, but then make it feel like it's getting better during the examination.
Right, pretend.
So that's what I did. It was like, oh, yeah, it's a bit sore. Is it? No, not really. It's not sore. It's a bit sore, but not. It's that kind of thing. It was stupid.
Oh, dear.
Here's another one from a listener called Dick. From Macclesfield. During double physics, I was proudly demonstrating how many whole ginger biscuits I could get in my mouth and still shut it. 12 was looking pretty impressive.
Wow.
Until my spittle attacked the biscuits and caused them to fuse into a solid lump, which had to be laboriously excavated with a spatula.
No. Come
I can imagine that, because the saliva would at first fuse the ginger gunge, and then the saliva would eventually run out, it would start drying, and you'd have a sort of a building brick in your mouth, right?
What a lunatic.
A ginger one.
Well, I guess a physics lesson is a good place for that to happen. One thing, speaking of experiments that I remember doing as a youngster, when my parents were out one afternoon, I must have been about 11, maybe 10, I just went into the bathroom and I thought, I'm going to do some experimentation. And I opened up the cupboard under the sink, and there was a load of cleaning products there. So I put the plug in the sink and I thought, I'm going to mix up a special potion. And I poured in some bleach, some ordinary household bleach, and then I got some cleaning fluid, and I popped that in there as well. And I failed, of course, to read the many warnings that come on all these kind of items that say on no account should you mix cleaning products with bleach, because they produce ammonia, which is a kind of noxious and deadly chemical. And I inhaled deeply on the resulting ammonia cloud, and
You've never been the same since.
I was in real pain. You know, it felt like I'd really done some damage to my lungs. It was just one breath of this stuff that I had. But every time I breathed, it was very painful. And so I was really freaked out, and I was thinking, that's it, I'm going to die now. And I went and just lay down for a couple of hours and just thought, I'm just going to pop off. And I had this was before mobile phones and stuff like that. So there was no question of me getting in touch with my parents. They were out. I didn't know where they were. I just thought, I'm just going to have to lie here and die. Maybe I'll be dead by the time they get back.
It's a cliffhanger. Let's leave it there and have a trail for the electric proms.
Not
Will
really.
Adam live?
It's
Is
not
he
really
alive
a
now?
cliffhanger.
Or is he a ghost?
You go on and on and on and on and on. You don't stop until the break of dawn.
There we go. They're not going to carry on until the break of dawn. We're going to stop them now. It's the Jungle Brothers with JB's Coming Through. That was a session pick. And where was that from? It was recorded for Andy Kershaw on Radio 1 on the 15th of March, 1990. Hip-hop's always a bit, tricky live.
Yeah, but
Never
that sounded
quite
pretty
know.
good.
It did sound pretty good.
What are they doing now? They all split up, the Jungle Brothers.
You know what? I don't know. They went in a sort of housey direction, didn't they?
Uh-huh.
And then they got a bit confused. I think they were dropped by their record label. I don't know. Maybe someone out there knows what's happened to the Jungle Brothers.
Now, we're going to wrap up Text the Nation this week. Do you have any more little bits of stupidity there?
Yes, I
At
do.
your fingertips, Joe Cornish?
This is from Joanne in Dublin. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
When I was about 4, I somehow got it into my head that I could rescue the eggs in the fridge and incubate them so that a little baby chick would emerge from them simply by sitting on them. When my parents found the resultant smashed eggs around the house, they had to break the bad news to me that there would be no chicks. I was too embarrassed to eat eggs for quite some time.
Too embarrassed to eat eggs.
P.S. Is the drum loop on Adam's tune sampled from I Walk the Earth by ex-Beta band man Steve Mason's King Biscuit Time project?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. A couple of people have spotted that one.
Yeah.
The loop on my track is original.
Well, original.
Garage band.
Yeah.
That's good though, Joanne. I think that's the stupidest thing that we've had so far. Well, it's not a competition because they're illegal now.
They're deadly.
And, but were it a competition, were we to live in such a scandalous and evil world that competitions were allowed, that might well win it.
Doesn't bear thinking
I like
about.
the idea of an innocent little girl sitting on, eggs. To try and make them hatch.
That's sweet, though. The sweetness outweighs the stupidity there.
It
I
does.
think. But that's very nice. And thank you very much indeed, everybody who texted in on our Text the Nation subject. Now, we are pre-recording our show next week, listeners, because we are otherwise
Because you're going
engaged.
away, aren't you, Adam Buxton?
Yeah, that's right.
Where are you going off to?
I'm going to be away. I'm going to be in Oxford. I'm going to be helping Radiohead with their webcast.
No,
They're
really?
doing a live webcast on next Friday evening on the 9th. I think it's 9 till 12 in the evening.
How could you help them?
Well, there's all sorts of things Radiohead need from me. Joe
Really?
Cornish. Oh, yeah. They can't do it without me. It's all...
What will you do?
Oh, I can't go into it. It's
Say.
too important.
Are you just like hanging around?
Oh, no, it's more important than that. No, I'm providing them with various bits of technical expertise and maybe some presentational fun as well. And
Right.
who knows? We'll see how it goes. It's fairly fast and loose. It's just Radiohead kind of talking about some of the things they're enthusiastic about, playing some songs, and I think playing some of their own material as well. So obviously I'm quite excited to be helping them out with it. being a big fan. Anyway, that is happening next Friday night, and because it's in Oxford, I won't be back in time for the show the next morning.
Why can't you get an early train? Or a late train?
Get an early train. It's not possible, because I'm going to be unpacking all the stuff the next morning.
Right. So you're like a roadie.
I'm like a roadie, yeah. Anyway, I'll tell you all about that when I get back. But it means that we have to pre-record next week's show, and we're going to suggest a topic for Text the Nation before the end of this week's show, so that you can start sending us your stories, and we can read them out during our pre-record, which we'll do this week. But that's it for Text the Nation for the time being. Now we have a track from the Whitest Boy Alive. Is that right? Yeah. The band is the Whitest Boy Alive, or just Whitest Boy Alive, and the song is called Burning. That's Cribs with Our Bovine Public, and Cribs are supporting the Sex Pistols when they return to the stage shortly. Can you imagine? Wow. You didn't happen to catch Sid and Nancy when it was on TV the other day, did you? No. That's Alex Cox, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's one of the stupidest films ever made.
Really? I haven't seen it for years. I saw it when it first came out. It seemed pretty good back then.
It did, didn't it? Well, Gary Oldman is still very impressive in it, and there are individually some great things about it. But as a kind of insane concoction of ludicrousness and just made up rubbish about what it was like then, not that I have first-hand experience, but you can tell that there's just some outrageous liberties he's taken with it. John Lydon is famously scornful of that film.
Really?
But it's funny. It's one of those films that's so rubbishy and stupid that it's kind of worth seeing for it.
Now, we're about to wrap up our Song Wars competition. This is your last chance to text. We're not going to play you the clips again. Text 64046, vote for Adam or Joe. And right after this next track, I think very possibly, we will announce the loser. Oh, it's not a competition. We will announce the less good song.
We will announce who you think has written the best song.
There you go. That's what we're going to do. But right now, here's a song from Prince, who's a little purple man from America. And this is off one of his old albums. It's called Tambourine.
The tambourine.
He says trampoline?
The tambourine.
Tambourine?
That's good, man.
I love that song. It's terrific drumming.
Which album is it from?
It's from Around the World in a Day.
Oh.
Prince has the most amazing band, obviously. He certainly used to, probably still does.
Yeah.
His band released a couple of instrumental albums under the name Madhouse. Do you remember those? One was called 8, the other one's called 16.
That's right.
And they're fantastic. They're just pure kind of jazz funk instrumental.
They are pretty nutty.
Things. They're nutty, but they're really good.
Now, folks, hey, it's time for the announcement that you've not really been waiting for. It's the winner, and I'm going to say that. The person who has composed the best song is now going to be revealed as per your votes, if you've been voting for...
It's exciting.
And Joe has the envelope.
We've got an envelope. We've been very mature. Last week we got into some kind of slightly depressing and lowering kind of catfighting and competitive jib-jabbery.
Well, we were getting the results as we went along last week, and so that made
set the cat among the pigeons. There were underhand tactics going on.
We were both kind of campaigning for a sympathy vote there.
So here we go. I'm going to open the envelope.
Didn't affect the ultimate.
Are you ready?
Outcome, but I think Joe was a bit upset.
That's the envelope opening. I'm now going to read the winner.
Joe's got it.
I've got it.
Oh, no.
That's Well, I'm afraid, Adam, you got 32% of the vote. I got 68%.
Does it actually say
that's
how
good
many
news
people?
for me on various fronts.
I know you wanted the percentages there, but does it actually say how many people?
We'll find out while the losing track plays.
68%!
You know what that means? That I can just not really bother next week. Because, don't say.
Lord, I don't believe this.
It doesn't sound fair to me. I think your song's better. I think you should have won.
Well, let's hear right now. And
let's hear the song that you, the listeners,
we can decide.
Think is the less good one.
I just downloaded a wicked song onto my mobile, and now I'm going to play it loudly on the bus. My mobile comes with tiny speakers in it. If you don't, then you should win it. Check these out in just 1 minute. It's gonna be a party on the bus. Nice. Everyone will be impressed because my speakers is the best. They passed the tiny speaker test set by my mate Matthew. Alright, my
just prepare to run. Passengers will get a shock when they turn round. This soon will clock my tiny booming mobile system.
Here we go, now can you hear it? Even though you are not near it, does it freak you? Do you fear it? I bet you flipping do.
Right.
Can you hear the treble hiss? Are you quite turned on by this? Ladies on the bus cannot resist a man with tiny speakers.
Alright, now this is my stop, and off the bus I must hip hop. I'll see you later for some more pop from my tiny mobile speaker. Down the back and down the aisle from my wicked music file. Cheer up, granddad, give us a smile.
What's the matter? Don't you like good music?
Well, clearly the answer is no.
That's brilliant, man. That's very good. That was, what was that called?
That was called Tiny Mobile.
That was called Tiny
Speakers.
Mobile. That was by Shaggy.
That was by
Thanks for bringing that
Scallywag.
in. Scallywag, sorry.
Scallywag.
That was good, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot. What did I get? 32% of the vote.
You're angry, but you know what? That might fuel your creativity.
2%.
You know, that anger might fuel
How long did it take you to do your song?
A long time.
Took me the best part of 2 days to do.
Yeah? 2 days, and if you knew what we got paid to do this show, you'd realise that we were actually going out of our way to create content to an unnecessary degree, perhaps, it might be said. Seeing as most people listen to this show, apparently the listening peaks between 10 and 11, right? And at 11, everyone goes shopping.
Yeah.
So no one's actually listening to
It's
this
a bit, I mean,
apart from you.
We do need to do some refining on the whole concept, because it is a bit nuts that we just play little clips, you know, because the both
We
are...
just played the whole thing.
Yeah, I know we played the whole thing now, but it's a fait accompli, you know, but the votes are cast, and if people, I believe that if people had heard the whole song earlier, I would be now holding the
Let's have a meeting after the
victorious
show.
envelope.
We'll have a meeting. Okay, but here's the song that you think is the best, based on the two clips. So if I say it like that, then it includes the idea that they might have got it wrong.
Yeah.
You know, that it might be the better clip, but not the better song. I'm being really nice.
Very nice.
Considering I won. And my song's better. And here it is. This has got 68% of the vote. This is called the Public Transport Song. Yeah, here it is.
7:30 on a crowded tube. My elbows touching a stranger's boob. The man beside me, he is reading my book. I close the pages so he can't look. Surely this train's at capacity now. 10 more people got on and I don't know how. And now we've stopped in the tunnel again, due to a person falling under the train. Ooh, I wish I was home in my bath right now, or the park right now, or somewhere like that. I don't like being trapped like a rat underground, it is crap. 8:30 and my bus drives past, it doesn't even stop. I see the driver laugh. Now some guy won't pay his fare, so the driver stops the bus and we just sit right there. 9:30 on the 133, some kids are throwing chips and causing misery. I stand up to say, hey, sit down, so they dislocate my jaw and kick me into the ground. Ooh, maybe I should buy a bike and have reflectors and that, and cycle instead, but I might end up dead with a truck on my head. It's my stop.
That's good, man.
Mine's more sincere.
Yeah. No, I didn't think it was. You see, I thought your lyrics were...
Let's talk about our songs
were
more
together. Were funnier.
You for listening.
But I was going to say, you know, we started the show with you sort of saying, you know, the charts and are not necessarily a reflection of what is good. And I was going to say, yeah, as proved by the listening vote today for your song. But, you know, I'm taking that back. I thought that was genuinely good, and I was slightly moved at one point, and amused, and it had everything that you could possibly want from a song. So
Very nice of you to say, Adam.
Well, I really thought I was going to win this week. I really did.
Really, you thought? Well, you know, who the fickle finger of the public.
Yeah. So listen, let me tell you what's going to happen, because we're pre-recording the show this week. So next weekend, right? We're going to play Song Wars as normal, but we won't tell you who's won until the following week, right?
But we still want your suggestions of what we should do the song about this week. So text 64046, or email, even better, adamandjoe.6music@bbc.co.uk, and you could choose the theme for the song. We were thinking it might be fun to get you to suggest lyrics that are kind of found, e.g. stuff like instruction manuals, or the Radio Times, or a horoscope. Like send in a bit of text that you want us to put to music, and like it could be a really weird bit of text, right?
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, if you supply us with some text, then both Joe and I would have to use the same bit of text.
Try and find a bit of text like instructions from a medicine packet, something that you think could never be a sort of emotional and moving song lyric, and we'll try and make it so. That's an idea there.
But you've got to get it to us by Wednesday. That's when we're pre-recording the show.
Yeah.
So make sure that happens.
So there we go. Thanks for listening to those songs. Here's some real music. This is what is this?
This
Adam?
is the Juliana Hatfield 3 with "Spin the Bottle."
Spin the Bottle by the Juliana Hatfield 3.
Very good. Well
Who
done.
are they? Do you know anything about them, Adam?
They're not around anymore, are they? No, they were
from
big,
the olden times.
They were big in the early 90s, and I remember they used to have a lot of music that would turn up on that program with the lovely girl from who's in Stardust now, Claire Danes. My So-Called Life. Yeah. What a great show that was.
Just released on a DVD box set.
Really?
I think the complete series available in the shops for Christmas. Speaking of which, there's two adverts on telly advertising the new special edition of Die Hard 4.0.
Oh, yes.
Woolworths have got it for $12.99. Smiths have got it for $14.99. Smiths are wasting their time.
Right.
You know, or would anybody spend £2 more just for the Smiths experience?
Maybe it's packaged slightly differently.
Why didn't Smiths realise that Woolworths were undercutting them by £2? Smiths have wasted a massive... oh, my stomach's making an incredible noise. Smiths have wasted their advertising budget.
It does seem a bit...
Come on, W.H. Smiths, pull your finger out. You used to be Britain's favourite paper market.
Man.
Now you've lost it.
More.
Come on.
Oh, Joe Cornish slams W.H. Smith.
Woolies, the cute sheep, is trouncing all over Smiths.
Yeah, that's harsh, man. That is very harsh. You've been watching too much Dragon's Den. That's your thing. You're so business-minded now.
It's broken. It's a tatty. It's tatty. It fell apart in my hands. For that reason, I'm not investing. I'm out.
Now, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm overloading you listeners with information, but we also have to deal with what the subject of Text the Nation is going to be for next week. Not only do we need your lyric suggestions for Song Wars, we also need to supply you with Text the Nation so you can text us with your little anecdotes there.
Here are the ideas so far. Number one is things, childhood misconceptions, things that you got confused about as a kid, right? I, Joe Cornish, used to... I discovered about tampons quite early on in life, and it traumatized me. And whenever I saw an advert for a temping agency on the side of a bus, which usually had a sort of sexy-looking lady in a trouser suit striding towards work, excitedly, Kelly girl temps, I thought it was an advert for tampons.
Right.
And all I could imagine was what was going on under her sexy suit.
You know what? That's an easy mistake to make. Tampon adverts really aren't that dissimilar. It's all about sort of empowerment.
Is that a good
freedom.
Text the Nation subject?
I think that's good. Let's stick with that. Let's see where that gets us.
Okay, childhood misconceptions. And we're going to give a sort of special, we're not going to give a prize, but special kudos to the person who kind of misunderstood something about the world for the longest period. Do you know what I mean? Like you held on to a childhood misconception and only just realised that you'd misunderstood it when you were in your late 20s, your 30s.
The older the better.
Can you think of any examples, Adam? You're allowed to say no. Just say no.
Well, I for a long time thought that it was possible to travel at the speed of light on Concorde.
Right, you thought that Concorde travelled at the speed of light.
Yeah, I thought that was the big deal. I thought that was the big deal about it. I thought that was why everyone was going on about it. Speed of light. Yeah,
that's true, isn't it?
That is true, and I got in a big argument about it one time at school. And I still, every now and again, I get it confused still a bit. Like, when I'm watching Star Trek and stuff and they go to light speed, I think, oh, big deal.
What would be better than light speed?
I don't know, something like...
Thought speed.
Thought, yeah, speed of time.
Stink
or
speed.
I don't know what.
Smell speed.
Anyway, so that's our suggestion. The misconceptions, confusions from
Childhood confusions that
Yeah.
you've sort of clung on to. Text 64046. Can they text? No, they have to email, really. adamandjoe.6music@bbc.co.uk.
Right, now.
This is the very last track. Thanks for listening. Thanks to everybody who's texted and emailed their messages of support for our new Saturday morning show. We very much appreciate it.
Yeah, we really do, and we certainly hope that we're just going to keep getting tiny bit better.
Work.
Keep getting work. Now, here's a track, final track. I chose this one. I hope you like it. This is from a band called Guided by Voices, who I'm sure many of you will be familiar with. What a great band they are, and one of the most prolific songwriters as well in the kind of indie pop world, who's still going strong. Robert Pollard. Just a smattering of some of his song titles. It's delightful song titles. Postal Blowfish, Psychic Pilot Clocks Out, Scorpion Lounge Shut Down, Hardcore UFOs, Christian Animation Torch Carriers. He is the king of the excellent song title, and this song title is not so great. It's fairly straightforward, but the song is amazing. It's from the album Isolation Drills. This is The Enemy. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye.